that dramatic enough? Okay, well now that I have your attention, look, 2021 is here, and this video is not meant to be a motivational video. The last thing that I am is a motivational speaker. But what I'm hoping for in this video is that it will inspire you to look at 3 different stories of 3 different people, okay? And I'm one of those, including me. And look at those stories and get inspired to do just one thing. And that one thing that I want you to focus on doing is change the way you think. Your thoughts control your behavior, and then your behavior will determine the actions you take, and the actions you take over time will then create the routine, which will then determine the results that you see in your life. Now, there are so many books written on this topic, and a lot of the stuff that helped me get started in my own life with my own business, and with also helping me to get in shape and make that change in my life, it all started with a book called As a Man Thinketh. There's just one quote that I want to take out of that book and share with you. So your mind is pretty much like a garden, and your thoughts are like the seeds that you're going to plant. Once that garden starts to grow, that is like the results that you start to see in your life. So let's say, for example, you find yourself overweight, out of shape, in a very bad situation financially. Just everything seems to be going wrong in your life. That's not necessarily a byproduct of outside forces. It's a byproduct of the way that you've been thinking. Now, you see, that might be a very radical way to think about things, and a lot of people don't want to accept that, because the moment you accept that, you realize, I'm responsible. And a lot of people want to play victim and think they're responsible. And you see, this is really where the magic happens. The moment that you make that mind shift and you start realizing that you are responsible for where you are today, it's going to be the first step necessary to make sure that you are now on the right path to change your life. One of the best quotes that I've ever heard before is one by Jim Rohn, and it's this idea that if you want to improve, you need to improve. If you want things to change, you need to change. Because when you change, everything in your life changes with you. And this whole idea seemed so radical to me 10 years ago when I had first started getting into the gym and training myself. But this idea is also the same thing that I have seen in other people, other success stories. So I just want to give you 2 success stories. One of them is a good friend of mine. He started out as a client, and then he actually turned into one of my own personal mentors. And there was actually something that was pretty funny that happened during that time, because I actually told him something, and that thing that I ended up telling him now 3 years later has sparked a multi-million-dollar business for this guy. And I'll go ahead and tell you exactly, just briefly, what the story is. So this guy he started out as my client. I was training him and his wife. And then later on, I realized he was very smart when it came to financial advice. And so I started asking him. I was like, do you think that we can kind of exchange stuff? I'll give you training and stuff like that. And in return, I want you to mentor me once a week when it comes to financials. And so he had agreed, and we would meet at a Starbucks once a week. And that was pretty much how the relationship started. And I remember as time went on, there was something that I told him. And I said, if you're so smart, why don't you make more money? And now, don't get me wrong, this guy already had multiple businesses. He had already had multiple businesses in the past and sold them and made money. And he already had businesses at the time. But that wasn't necessarily what I was talking about. I wasn't necessarily talking about making 6 figures. This guy was smart. And he was so smart on specific topics that I realized that there was a particular niche that he could carve out for himself on YouTube. And flash forward to today, and that guy is making multi-millions now. And I just spoke with him recently, and he told me that, he really thought about what I had told him that day, and it stuck with him. And he's like, you know what? Why not just give it a shot? It's that idea that can spark, that could literally change a person's life. And now, just to give you a little reflection on my own story, and later this week I am actually going to do a full story on my own transformation over the last 10 years and show you guys exactly where I started and how I ended up. So this is just a little bit of a summary, but I will give you guys the full story and the full breakdown later this week. So make sure you guys are subscribed so you don't miss when that one comes out. Just to give you an idea where I was 10 years ago, man, I had literally like a dead-end job. I was not a trainer at the time. I had no muscles. I mean, I'm just gonna show you guys a picture real quick of what I looked like day 1 of starting. I don't even know who that person is. Like ew, right? Ew, who is that? But yes, now the reason why I'm holding a newspaper was because I actually was like, you know what? I am going to put this in stone. This is day one right here. Okay, so here's the proof. This is day one. I am starting, I'm getting committed, and I'm doing this. And that was literally the first step. And I want to tell you guys exactly what had happened at the time. During that time, I had actually lost my job. Okay, I had lost my job. I had no idea what I was doing with my life. I was extremely unhealthy and very sick at the time. And you're thinking, what? Like a 20-year-old kid, really sick? Why? And it was because I was like a hypochondriac at the time. Any little pain or anything that I felt, it was like, I gotta go to the hospital. And so I literally remember my dad taking me to the hospital almost like every single week. And the doctors would be like, dude, you are fine. It's all in your head. And I remember one day just being fed up and being like, man, I really got to get my health in order. I don't know what's going on with me, but I just got to make a change. And one of my friends at the time had reached out to me and had said, hey, I got a gym membership. I have a pass where I could bring you in as a friend for free for like the next 6 months. Do you want to start going with me? And this is like a really interesting idea. There's a good quote, and I know I'm like giving you guys so many quotes today. I told you I wasn't going to motivate you. I hope these quotes aren't motivating you. But there's a quote and it says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And at that moment in time, I was ready. I was ready to make a change in my life. And all of a sudden, just like out of nowhere, I got invited to go to the gym and I was ready for that. And so I go and literally the rest is history. But now it comes back to this idea of there had to be some type of like change in the way that I was thinking. And now to give you another story, just to kind of wrap this up, one of my best success stories of all times with one of my clients, Sharif. And if you're watching this, better give me a thumbs up on that one. This guy came in and he was like, look, I got into a car accident not too long ago. I used to be in shape. I got injured. I couldn't work out anymore. I'm now in a spot where I've gained a lot of weight and I just want to get back to where I was. And so at the time, he just really wanted to get back in shape. It wasn't anything too crazy. And so when we started, we just started getting back into the groove of things and started teaching him that, hey, even regardless of your injuries and limitations, we can still train and we can still make this transformation possible. And you see, it was during this time that he started seeing his body change, that it started to spark new hope and new ideas in terms of what was possible for him. And during that time, I had encouraged him and pretty much presented this idea of, hey, what do you think about stepping on stage and competing in the over 40 category? And I remember him just thinking like, you are crazy, man. Like me, dude, I've never stepped on stage before. Those guys are gonna crush me. And I remember telling him, I'm like, look, you're not really going up there to win. I just want you to break that fear barrier and try to take things to the next level. Okay, and I had kept pushing that idea on him. So I planted the seed, and then every session we would train, 3 times a week. I would just keep watering that seed and keep trying to plant little things in his mind. And then one day he's like, you know what, let's try. And so look, I told him I would help him all the way. So on the day of the show, I would come and support him and everything. This guy literally came in like 3rd place. He won 2 trophies, one in the over 40 category and one in the over 35 category. First time ever stepping on stage. He had no idea what he was doing. And it was just one of the most incredible moments for him and in his life. And now if I look at him today, he's still doing that. He's keeping it up. And not only that, he's even better than he was before. One of the main things I want you guys to go into this new year with is a change of mind. Now, I have something really cool coming out, hopefully sometime this month, if not next month. And it's a new podcast that I'm going to be starting up called the Lethal Mind Podcast. And the whole idea behind this is really capitalizing on this idea of lethal. So lethal can mean 2 things: very deadly and destructive, or it can mean very effective. And this is the whole idea, that your mind is lethal when you think about it. Because your thoughts can be something that holds you back and destroy you, or they could be the things that uplift you and push you forward to accomplish whatever it is you want to accomplish in your life. And so this whole idea of this podcast is that over the last decade, I've had the pleasure of training and networking with some of the best people in the industry, whatever industry it may be, whether that's fitness or business, entrepreneurs. And I found that each and every single person has just one thing in common, and that's really the way that they think. So I'll be presenting more information on this as the time goes on, but over the next coming weeks, I'm also going to be doing more things on this channel in terms of just helping you guys make sure that 2021 is your best year. Now, one of the ways that I am doing that right now is I have released a brand new ebook, and it's yours for free. And in that ebook, we're going over 8 weeks of training and nutrition, and I even put together a little Facebook group so that I can help you and support you guys all along the way. So this is something that just launched yesterday that I'm really excited for. It's a brand new group, and I really hope that you guys get involved with it because it's free. If you guys need a place to start and you're really not sure exactly what to do, I mean, this is it. This is your answer right here. And look, if you guys like this content that I'm putting out, show your support by hitting that like button. And also another way that you guys can really show your support for the channel is just make sure that you guys are subscribed and hit that bell icon so you guys are notified when these videos drop each and every day. So the last thing that I want you guys to do is let me know exactly what your big goal is for this new year and just put it in the comments below because I want to help you and I want to reach out and give you whatever support that I can. And that's all for today's video. And as always, guys, stay strong and I'll see you next time.